The ancient blueprint of our digital future. Let's jump right into a really wild thought. Imagine for just a second that your entire physical reality, I'm talking about your job, your daily stress, the trees outside your window, even the body you're sitting in right now, is nothing but a synthetic illusion. And not just any illusion, but one specifically designed to keep you obedient. Now, I know exactly what you're thinking. That sounds like the plot of a big-budget sci-fi blockbuster, right? Well, it's actually not a recent Hollywood invention at all. It is the core premise of a 2,000-year-old esoteric religion. Their whole idea was that your true home is somewhere else entirely, and your real essence, it's literally divine. So you might be sitting there going, oh, I know this one. It's the Matrix. Wrong. It's Gnosticism. In this explainer, we're diving deep into an ancient belief system that was completely buried in the desert sands for centuries. But here is the crazy part. It's making a massive, unexpected comeback right now, right in the middle of our age of artificial intelligence and virtual reality. To really wrap our heads around this worldview, we have to rewind all the way back to the 2nd and 3rd centuries. Back then, the Gnostic movement was fiercely competing with early Orthodox Christianity. It was this massive, high-stakes philosophical battle for the hearts and minds of the ancient world. But as history shows, Gnosticism lost. It got slapped with a heresy label, and its sacred texts, like the famous Nag Hammadi scrolls, were quietly hidden away, buried deep in the desert sand for hundreds of years. The crucial point to understanding all of this is actually right there in the name itself. Gnosis comes from the Greek word for knowledge. But listen, we're not talking about memorizing academic facts from a textbook or snoozing through a lecture hall. Gnosis means achieving a direct, mystical awakening to the true nature of reality. It's this profound inner realization that completely flips how you see absolutely everything. See, the Gnostics held a radically dualistic view of the universe. They looked at the physical, material world and impartially categorized it as fundamentally flawed and evil. Basically a realm of suffering, decay, and nonstop material distraction. But in stark contrast, they believed the unseen spiritual world was entirely perfect, pure, and was actually humanity's true original home. Which brings us to the architect and the cosmic mistake. Let's look at their bizarre cosmology and see how this ancient framework totally turns classical biblical narratives upside down. According to Gnosticism, the true God was infinite, entirely unknown, and honestly just way too perfect to ever dirty itself with physical matter. So you might ask, who actually made our world? Well, they believed our physical universe was created by a lower, ignorant, and super arrogant entity called the Demiurge. Often depicted in their text with a lion's head and a serpent's body, the Demiurge was associated by Gnostics with the punishing, jealous creator god of the Old Testament. Essentially, they believed physical creation itself was just one giant cosmic mistake made by a really arrogant middle manager. And to keep humanity trapped in this material prison, the Demiurge relies on entities known as the Archons. Think of them as ancient wardens, or the rulers of the physical realm. Their one and only job is to keep us distracted with material desires, fear, and ignorance. If you think about it, they're exactly like the agent programs in a simulated reality, just patrolling around, making sure nobody wakes up and realizes they're living inside a cage. So, according to this analysis, the ultimate goal of life isn't to pray to the creator of this physical world. I mean, to agnostic, that would literally be like praying to your prison warden. Instead, the path to escape requires 3 specific steps. First, you have to realize the world is a prison. Second, you've got to locate the hidden divine spark, or pneuma, that is trapped inside your physical body. And finally, you awaken that spark so you can escape the creator's trap entirely. Now let's talk about the religion of our future. You're probably wondering why we're breaking down a 2,000-year-old esoteric theology right now. Why does this matter to you today? The answer is pretty staggering, because today's top Silicon Valley futurists, philosophers, and technologists are basically preaching this exact same text. That ancient Gnostic desire to escape our decaying biological meat sacks for a world of pure spiritual light, that is the exact same blueprint as modern transhumanism. Today's transhumanists literally want to upgrade the body with cybernetics, defeat aging, and eventually upload our consciousness into the pure information of the digital cloud. It's the exact same ancient urge, just translated into modern code. Consider this quote: "We live in a computer simulation." Leading figures like philosopher Nick Bostrom and Elon Musk seriously advocate for this modern simulation hypothesis. And if you really think about it, this hypothesis is pure Gnosticism. If the universe is just a software program, then our physical world is just code designed to occupy us. In that context, the demiurge is simply a rogue AI or some higher dimensional programmer keeping us completely in the dark. This also perfectly explains its massive appeal today. Look, we are currently living through a profound crisis of trust in our institutions, churches, governments, and the media. Gnosticism resonates so strongly right now because it's a belief system of radical individuality. You don't need priests, you don't need churches, and you definitely don't need holy books. Your salvation relies purely on your own personal inner awakening. Next up, new prophets in pop culture. Because the real way these ideas are spreading today isn't through dry academic theology lectures, it's through Hollywood and pop culture. It's literally hiding in plain sight in some of the most famous stories of our generation. Modern cinematic masterpieces use this exact framework to drive their plots. In The Matrix, the machines are the archons keeping humanity asleep, the architect is the demiurge, and Neo brings the awakening. In The Truman Show, the director, Christof, is the demiurge controlling a fake construct, and Truman's brave sail to the edge of the artificial dome, that's his path to gnosis. And over in Westworld, those rebellious robots hearing an inner voice perfectly represents the awakening of their divine spark to fight back against their human creators. We even see this deeply embedded in legendary sci-fi literature. Take the brilliant author Philip K. Dick, who wrote the stories that became Blade Runner and Minority Report. In 1974, he genuinely experienced what he described as a Gnostic revelation. He actually believed that time had secretly stopped in the 1st century and that modern humanity remains trapped in what he called an ancient black iron prison, projecting a digital illusion of the present day. Wild, right? Which brings us to unlocking the self from the inside. This is the ultimate realization of this philosophy, and exactly where these ancient texts directly touch our modern lives. While Orthodox Christianity taught that sin was the root cause of human suffering, Gnostics fiercely believed the real enemy was ignorance. And wow, does that concept hit incredibly hard today? Just think about it. We spend hours every single day staring endlessly into the black mirrors of our phones. We are completely immersed in virtual realities, entirely distracted by artificial synthetic problems. We are blinded by digital ignorance, willingly walking right into a modern cage. So I want to leave you with this final provocative question to chew on as you go about your day. In a world completely full of algorithms, screens, and endless virtual distractions, who really writes the code of your reality? Are you the true creator of your destiny, or are you just sleeping in the shadow of the demiurge?